Hey guys, welcome back to the van build. Today we're going to talk about the Truma D6 Combi diesel heater supplied to us by my generator. So heating and generating hot water are two components that turn an ordinary camper van into a luxurious motorhome. So when it comes to heating and hot water in a van, there are a few options to consider. However, both these appliances have their limitations in terms of size and efficiency. The main issue with a heating system and a hot water unit in a van is that they take up a lot of space, mainly because they're two different units. So after some extensive research, we were excited to find out about the Truma Combi D6 hot water system and heater in one. So this versatile little unit not only heats up the air, but it also heats up the water, and it does it with great efficiency. The Truma is fairly compact and lightweight in comparison to other units that have a similar output. And don't forget also, this is a 2-in-1, so you're getting hot water and a heater in one unit. Now, it's controlled using a control panel, which is here. It's an LCD control panel, but also if you have the iNet box, you can control this unit via Bluetooth or SMS. So Bluetooth is within range of 10 meters, and you can control it just on your phone with the free app, the Truma app. Or if you are further than 10 meters, then you can control it via SMS. Now, to put that in a real life scenario, say for instance, me and Emily are going for a sunrise hike, we're at the top of a mountain or wherever, and we want to come back to the van and have a hot shower and have the heater on. When we're up at the hike, we can just go on our phone, use the app, turn the hot water system on, also turn the heater on, set it to the desired temperature, and then when we get back to the van, it's already got hot water for a shower and the heater is already on, so the van's nice and toasty. How good is that? We chose a long wheelbase van simply because we wanted to have an inbuilt shower inside. That gives us enough room to have a shower inside the van. Now with this system, we're able to have hot water pretty much whenever and wherever we want, and especially while we're camping off-grid. So this system itself makes it really appealing for us. So some of the specs of this unit include, obviously it runs on diesel. I think in the long run better than gas because it will be cheaper to run and also a little bit cleaner. It runs on a 12-volt electrical system. It comes with a 2-year warranty, and it also takes approximately 20 minutes for the hot water to reach 60 degrees. Also, it's got 4 warm air outlets at the back of the unit here, which means you can have 4 different ducting outlets where you can position them anywhere in the van. And another thing too is you can set the desired temperature to whatever you want with the heater, which is great. All right, so I'm gonna try to explain in layman's terms how this unit works. So basically there's a burner that's inside the center of the unit, and wrapped around that is a heat exchanger. So cold air is drawn in from the front through a centrifugal fan, and then it's drawn into the heat exchanger, and then it's expelled out via these 4 outlets at the rear of the unit, and then it's ducted throughout the van via the ducting system. So that's how the heating part works. Now for the hot water, where the heat exchanger is, there's a 10-litre stainless steel tank that surrounds the outside of the heat exchanger. So while the van is being heated, water is also being heated, and this generates hot water. The burnt diesel is expelled via the exhaust air flue, and it's expelled out the side of the van via the wall cowl. So in front of me I have the components required for the installation. We have the Truma D6 Combi unit. Here we have got ducting, extraction duct, exhaust muffler, air intake muffler, pump connection cable, 12-volt diesel pump, air inlet vent, ducting, air outlets. We've got a wall cowl and then the cover that goes on front of the cowl. We've got some plumbing stuff here, water pressure reducer, drain valve, venting valve, a room temperature sensor. We've got the control panel where we can control everything about the unit. We've got a fuel hose, a fuel line, some hose brackets and clamps, and we've got the feed for the diesel. So now we're going to go into the van and I'm going to show you where we will position the unit and a basic overview on where everything is going to be installed. So at the moment we have our subfloor, but eventually we'll have a hybrid flooring system in the van. Now you are not meant to place the heater on a vinyl floor. It's recommended not to do that. So what we are going to do is we are going to mount it on top of some plywood, and first things first is to cut this for the appropriate size of the heater so we can sit this on top of this bit of plywood, because at the moment it's too big. So let's cut that. So to heat the van evenly, it's advised to place the heater as central in the van as possible. Now you've got your output ducts, they should be routed at even lengths, and then you've got your exhaust muffler which will come out here and out of the van, and this is a good little spot because we can mount our cowl in this opening here. And another point to consider is the unit should be housed in like a wardrobe or in a cupboard where it's easily accessible in case you need to do any repairs. So we'll probably have a wardrobe or a cupboard here that will cover the unit, and then we're going to have the intake air vent mounted here. And then also another thing to consider is you've just got to have 10mm gap around the whole unit, and only a 5mm gap where the fuel line and the water intakes are on this side. So eventually we'll have it boxed out and also inside a cupboard. Alright, so our first step is to install the wall cowl, and this is it here. This will be installed around about here, and that gives us access for the exhaust muffler to fit into. Now when you're installing this, there's a couple of things you need to consider. You want to make sure you're not drilling into any like existing wires or any plumbing or any gas lines. I know that we have nothing here, all that's there is just insulation, so we'll be all good to drill that from the outside. We're going to choose this little spot here because there's already an opening. Also, you have to make sure that this cowl is fitted to the wall. You can't fit it to the roof and you can't fit it to the floor. It has to be on the side, it has to be on the wall. So let's go around the side of the van and let's have a look to see where we're going to put it. Okay, so we've got our stencil, and what we've done is we've just taped it onto the side of the van here, and I've just transferred with pencil the edges of my cuts. And then now I'm just going to make a slide. I'm not going to drill all the way through, but I'm just going to drill where my center points are going to be for my hole saw. So when I take off this template, I'm just going to make sure everything's exact and in line. Also, another thing is you can't really use a level unless the vehicle is exactly level. The only thing to reference off is like these lines that run down the side of the vehicle. So I've just measured and made sure my measurements are exactly the same off this line here. Otherwise, you know, when I mount the wall cowl, it might be on the piss. So I'll just double check that. Yep, so now what I'm gonna do is, because if I was to cut this panel just like this, I'd probably scratch the side panel with the jigsaw and maybe the hole saw. So we're just gonna put down some tape To get the round corners, we are going to use a 30mm hole saw. And then we're going to make 4 holes, and that's going to give us some rounded corners. And then what we're going to do after that is we're just going to get our jigsaw and cut it out. So there's a couple of things also that I need to mention when finding a location for your cowl. Firstly, you need to make sure that it's on a flat surface. So we are just going to have ours here. Obviously, you've got this little indentation here on the panel. You don't want to have your cowl like there, for instance. You want to have it mounted nice and flat. And also when you use your adhesive, you want that to stick to something flat so you don't get any leaks. Another thing is too, you don't want it near any exhaust gases. So our exhaust muffler is actually just there. However, we're going to have that moved because our water tank will be sitting under here. So that's going to get moved over to the other side of the vehicle. So that should be fine. And another thing too is you can't have this 300mm near a window. So say for instance, if we had a window here, you can't have your wall cowl within 300mm of a window, and you can't have it within 500mm of a fill-up point. So like your diesel fill-up point or like a water fill-up point.